Try not to compare yourself so hard to everybody else out there doing whatever it is that they're doing, because you don't ever know if what it is that they're doing is actually working.
And we're live. Tanya Aliza, she's in the building. Tanya, how you doing?
Woo woo! I am good, Ian. Thank you for having me. And I think this is my second time on the show, so I feel uber special.
You are an OG. And I believe the last time we saw each other in person was in what country? Was it
Costa
Cancun?
Rica.
Costa Rica.
Yeah.
And I remember when I get just an opportunity to talk to you for 20 minutes, and it's the most amazing experience. You are a wealth of knowledge. If it wasn't for you, I would not have a website today. I would not have the brand I've had today. You've inspired me to do my own life and build up, my own brand and continue to grow this thing. So I'm really fired up to jump into this. As you mentioned, the first time we had you on the podcast was one of the top 5 best performing podcasts we've ever had. It was something, I think we called it building the ultimate branding something, but Tanya Aliza, you are the real deal. I'm very grateful you're on the show. This is going to be so exciting. And you recently moved. Where'd you move to?
Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
Do you love it? Is it a good change of pace?
Yes, I love it. I'm at heart a West Coast girl. You know this. But being on the East Coast, I think if you're going to be on the East Coast, I think North Carolina is probably one of the best places to be if you're going to be on the East Coast. And I love it. Yes.
And what I love about your story and everything you've done is we all have this dream. A lot of the people that listen to this podcast are in network marketing. A lot of people have side hustles, entrepreneurs, they're building SaaS companies, they're doing their thing, but we all have this dream of building, a successful business. And the best type of business is one that's passive, right? That's operating while you're sleeping, that's building in, compound interest in time of it just sitting out there, creating evergreen content that works with funnels, all these key buzzwords that get people really stoked in today's environment. But it's hard. And a lot of that has to do with one word I hear so much amongst the most successful people is consistency. Not only do you have to know how to do it, but you have to be able to do it consistent for a very long time. What you taught me was that you don't need to be the best. You don't need to be the best speaker. You don't need to be the funniest, the most charismatic. You just need to be consistent for like 5 years. If you're consistent for long enough, eventually it hits the right people. Eventually you get better, and you have been the most consistent in the game, and you're crushing it on so many different levels. I believe you have a team of what, 7 or 8 now?
Yeah, I think it's seven. Yeah.
That's insane. And you're building this while building a direct sales company, while building different affiliate income streams. And the ultimate branding blueprint has been a huge success. So I just wanted to outline that for everyone listening to the call of who we're talking to. And this is going to be fun. Again, thanks for coming on the show.
You're so welcome. I'm so honored to be asked to be here. So thank you.
So tell me, what's going on these days? You're building you have all these different programs. I want to start off real quick. When you're operating like 5 or 6 different courses, teaching people online marketing, lead gen, building your own website, and the done-for-you service, what have been some of the key things you've learned throughout trying to operate and build while having so many different products? Do you find that more products is better or narrow focus is better?
Yeah, I love that question. And I think it's important for people to know that I was the girl that had a laptop on her kitchen table with a dream to make $5,000 a month from the internet. Like that was where I started. And that would be like back in the day, that would be complete time freedom for me. Like I could pay my bills at the time. I never thought in a million years that what I was starting back in 2010 would have transpired into a multi-million-dollar brand and business with a team of 7 people. So that was never the big hope and dream. I mean, some entrepreneur, I mean, that probably is a lesson to me. I probably should have dreamed bigger back then. But that was where I started. And then when you really learn internet marketing and when you learn how to bring your business online, and I don't care what business that you're in. I mean, I do care, but it doesn't matter what business you're in. You could be just, lots of people now, they're like, I just want to be Instagram famous. I want to be an influencer, or you have your online courses, or you have, like we were talking about before we hit record, we were talking about, you have a lot of SaaS businesses and startups as well that are tuning into the podcast. It doesn't matter what business you have or what you're promoting or what your brand is. When you can learn how to utilize the internet, it puts scale on a completely different level for your business. Like if you do it right. And I used to sell products and services very belly to belly, like offline, right? Very local, in my local environment. I had no idea that the internet was a tool. And then it was funny, we were talking about Costa Rica, but I moved to Costa Rica back in 2011, I believe it was. And I had products and services that I was selling. And I said to myself, I still need to sell these products and services. How do I do that? And I went to the internet, I started Googling, and I found some OG marketers like my man, Frank Kern, and, a lot of other like old school people probably don't even know who they are anymore, teaching internet marketing and funnels. And I pulled my hair out 50 million times trying to learn all of this stuff. And I was in front of my computer a lot of late nights. And then I finally figured it out. And when I figured out like how to put my products and services in front of people who are looking for the benefits of which they provided, I couldn't stop it or slow it down if I wanted to. And that was because I had, my system set up properly to support the audience that I was going online and getting in front of. But yes, I was also, very consistent. And so I see so many people these days, and this is why I'm so passionate, and I'll let you know what I'm like working on, because I'm so passionate now teaching people the foundation of what it really takes to build an online business. Because so many people are out there, they're like, I want to learn TikTok, or I want to learn Instagram Reels, or Instagram, or how do I do Facebook advertising? And they want to know all the tactics, and they want to know all those, the tools, but they don't yet have the foundation of their business or their house set up. So that when they're going out to TikTok, or they're going out to Instagram, or they're going out online, and if you don't have a foundation to support that traffic and bring them over to you and have a way to convert them into what it is that you are doing, you are literally wasting your time, like literally wasting your time. And I wish somebody would have told me that back when I was first getting started, because I would have decided to put an email list in place like right away, like capture the people that are tuning in some capacity, whether I'm going to do something with those people now or not, capture those eyeballs. And so once though that foundation became in place for my business, and then I coupled that with being on the social media channels that I was on, I couldn't stop the snowball from going down the hill. And the further it went, the faster it'd go, and the bigger that it got. And this took a small town girl coming from 60,000 people in Penticton, British Columbia, Canada, sitting at a kitchen table wanting to make $5,000 a month, and like would have been happier than a pig in mud doing that, taking that to a multi-million-dollar brand and business now. And that's pretty surreal, but that's just the opportunity and the possibility that we have now with the internet. So I'm really passionate about teaching people how to set up that foundation to support a real online business, like not just a business where you're like, oh, let me just set up my Instagram account. Oh, I'm an online business. Like, no, like a real online business. And that means having a way to, bring people to you, put them on an email list, and then have a system that converts them into a sale of what it is that you want them to buy from you, whatever it might be. And so I learned this back in the day. I learned this and I, coming from, and let's just be real. Can I be real with like you and your audience? I can be real, right?
That's all we know.
So, coming from the network marketing space, right? Because that's where I kind of grabbed my grounds. And I was repping products from network marketing company back in the day. Completely, the company's not around anymore, but I was repping their products, and I would just be posting things like buy my products on social media. And, no one was buying them. People were unsubscribing because they didn't want to be sold anymore. They were like, all right, let's tune this girl out. Coming from that space and being one of the, I don't want to say the first, because I don't know who really was the first, but one of the first people doing social media for network marketing model. And back in the day, social network marketing was like, you can't do social media marketing. Like, no. And it was really, and now it's like widely accepted. But coming from back in the day where it wasn't, I always got a little bit timid telling network marketers who I trained for, 10 plus years to build an email list. Because I'm like, well, it takes a couple steps, to build an email list. You got to set some things up. And I don't want to take them away from, their prospecting and their posting on social media. Cause like that's, gets quick results, sure. But it doesn't give long lasting, everlasting real business results. Like that's just, quick, like, and so I would always get so scared and so timid to come out publicly and say, you guys should be building your email list and here's how you do it. And now just the world's changing. We've gone through a lot, and I know the power of my email list. It's created a multi-million-dollar business for me. I can write one email on a click of a button and make 5 figures in that same day. Like this is how powerful it is. I'm literally now just screaming from the rooftops. Like if you have products and services that you sell, you need to use my freebie method. I coined something called the freebie method. You need to use my freebie method, and you need to build your email list using this freebie method and do it the way that I show, because that's really what builds a true solid online business. And I'm just more than ever really, really passionate about that.
And you should be. And I love it because I've never had someone come in here and where I just straight up promote their products, just because that's not like my gig. That's not what I'm about, right? Like I want to give content to the people, promoting stuff. We try the best to only promote things that I support. And literally, if it wasn't for your course, I would not have this podcast anywhere where it is today. I would not have the network podcasting course. I would not have done that. And I think I gave a pretty gangster highlight video for your ultimate branding blueprint thing, just throwing it out. It was because I just respect you and everything you've done, because you make it seem accomplishable. You make it seem manageable. You don't make it seem so hard, right? With a billion different technology and steps. You and your team, shout out Ismarie, you guys make it so easy just to do these little things, setting up your funnel, growing your list. It gets so overwhelming, especially once you all of a sudden you got 10 softwares on subscription. And what happens, I see a lot of the times, is people get 10, 15 softwares on subscription. They stop being consistent. And now the softwares keep auto subscribing. And now they're getting upset because they're paying money, but they're not building the brand. So it's like really one thing that I've found that has been successful in my life, but more so just what I've seen in, if you're going to commit, you got to go all in. It's like with the diet, if you're going to do the diet, you got to do the diet. You can't just half in, half out. And you've created the entire program and brands for people to be able to go in there and do all that, which is really unique. Yeah.
And I think you asked me, you said, in the beginning, you said, I've got all these programs, like, is it better to have a lot of different things that you're promoting and repping and programs? And I love multiple streams of income, but as a course creator, so I'm going to talk to all my course creators right now. If you're just thinking about creating courses or anything that you're going to sell based on your knowledge that you have in your zone of genius, I didn't even count how many courses I have in my course portfolio, but we probably have about 8. And they're not all core programs. I've got 3 core programs and then a couple other side programs. This year I am consolidating, because it is very important to remember where you put your focus is where you're going to get your result. So focusing in one zone of genius spot, like one area, double down there and put all you have into that, and you will get paid forever on that and the way that you want to get paid on that. And it'll do so much for you than diversifying your energy in too many different directions. And here's what I've learned too. So, as a business owner, we have audiences that want all sorts of things, right? Our audiences want all sorts of things. And with my freebie method, this is cool because I teach you how to generate multiple streams of income with only focusing on your zone of genius and your one thing. And what you can do is you can just think about, okay, and here's what I do is I think about, okay, my audience is online business owners or people who want to learn how to build their business online. That is who my audience is. They're going to want to learn all sorts of things. Like I'm teaching list building and the core foundation of everything. But after that, they're going to want to know how to do YouTubes or how to do podcasts or how to do, Instagram or whatever. Now there's a couple options. I could go out and create those courses for everybody and pull my hair out because then I got to update all those courses every year or update the training and things change or whatever. And there's a lot of cost that goes into course creating as well. Like you've got to, pay for your hosting, you got to pay for your merchant account, like all that takes money and time. Or what I can do is I can focus on my one thing. I can stay in my lane. And then I can just have a little resources list where I affiliate my name to other people. And I can kind of say, hey, I know somebody that has a really good Instagram training. I know somebody that has a really good podcast training. Wink, wink, Ian. Go over here and learn this. And, you become affiliate for other things that you can just kind of put your name to. Now, just be careful with who you put your name to. I will say that. But if you can find some really good people out there with really good stuff, and then when you create like your freebie, and I'll give you guys an example of what this looks like too. When you create your freebie, you just have a little resources section. Your main call to action is going to be for your thing, but some people might already have your thing. So you want to have other avenues for them to take. And so that way it makes life really, really simple as like a brand influencer out there and also like a course creator wanting to serve your audience at the highest level still and give them good stuff and you want to control where they go to get their knowledge because you're the one that cares about your audience most. You do that in that way. So I'll give you an example. So I have a client. I've got so many examples, but I'll share one of my favorites. So I have a client. Her name's Shannon, and what she was selling was skincare, and she had a 3-step skincare line that was popular with the company that she was representing. And she wanted to sell more of this. So I sat down with her and said, Shannon, give me some benefits. Like, what do people experience when they go through your product and they incorporate your product in their life? Like, what are the main things people are saying about it? And she said, well, there's all sorts of things that they're saying. And I said, okay, well, what are the main ones? And she said, well, everybody says that it helps them to reduce the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles. And so I said, okay, cool. What can we create as a freebie for people that are interested in that benefit? So what we did was we just created a really simple food guide. And this was drop dead simple, but it worked so well. And she went online and she did a little bit of research and she created a food guide on 4 foods that you may never heard of before that you should incorporate it into your diet that helps with more youthful, supple, radiant looking skin and helps you to reduce fine lines and wrinkles. And she created that as a free resource. She put a little bit of time into it. It was about 60 to 90 minutes to create the thing. And then we put it inside of a funnel. So we created the pages for it, the landing page and the thank you page and the offer delivery page, and then linked it to her email list. And so when she was on social media and doing her YouTube videos or whatever, she would say, hey guys, if you don't yet have my 4 food guide, you might want to pick it up because here's the benefits of what it will give you. And if you don't have it, go here. And she would share her link. So everybody that would opt in to the food guide, who are they? They're perfect potential clients for her because they are interested in that thing that her product does. So then she would have a video on the next page that it was a video of her. It was like 2-3 minutes and it was very casual. And she said, hey, hey, Rockstar, what's going on? I'm so excited for you to grab my food guide. You're going to absolutely love it. And she reiterates the benefits again. She said, oh, by the way, if you would like to learn about one of my favorite skincare systems that's helped me to XYZ, XYZ, XYZ. And she shared her story a little bit. Then she shared a couple of client testimonials. Then she said, click the link below to learn more about it. And that would take them to her product page where people were able to purchase. And so she would do, a YouTube video a week or whatever her content was. And her call to action would be to people to go get her food guide. She's leading with value. She's building goodwill in the marketplace. She's not selling. She's giving free value first, giving then her the opportunity to make a sale authentically after, right? And then, so some people would buy right away and then some people wouldn't, and that's fine too. The people that wouldn't, they would be on our email list. And we have a 4-message formula that we send people that warms them up to the product and service more and gets them to purchase if they didn't purchase right then and there. And then in the freebie itself that she constructs, she basically has a little resources section that says, hey, by the way, if you'd like some other additional resources that'll help you with your skin, get this book, get this other thing, get this other thing. And they were all little Amazon affiliate links that she had, or all little things that she knew, like she just put additional resources in there, right? So she's increasing her revenue streams, and more than one revenue stream is definitely better than one. So it was funny because we created this for a couple of years ago, and I hear from her on my Voxer once in a while. And something that I didn't actually know is that she went through quite a traumatic life experience through the pandemic. She's a nurse and she's actually a respiratory therapist. And so she was just, her side hustle that she was building had to take a major backseat, unfortunately, but she was still making sales because she had this out there and her email list was still growing from all of those fishing lines that she put out in the water on her social media with a link back and a call to action back to her freebie funnel. And I just think that that's so beautiful because that literally is passive business. She couldn't show up and she was still able to make, build her list and make sales with her product and service.
It's so incredible to see. So I have this like stomach issue. I still deal with it today. I recently did the elemental diet again, yada, yada. Anyone that listens knows I got the SIBO gang, what up? And basically I created this video about like my personal story of how I beat SIBO. And I put it on YouTube like 2 years ago. And to this day, that video has just been like my best performing video. It's got like 1,000 likes to 3 dislikes. It's just like people love that video. And I'm always getting messages, people asking me for help and like more advice. And I always tell them, I'm like, listen, I'm not a naturopath. Like I was just telling my story. Like I'm not a doctor. Like I can't help you. And I've always thought like, oh, what a waste almost, right? It's like the most amazing video that teaches somebody about something. And then what that does is it creates awesome content that puts you as the expert in the field. So the question is like, what are you an expert today at? What is it that you can talk a little bit better than everyone else on? Mm-hmm. And if you have a product or service, you can sell that. And that's so exciting. That means anybody can be an online entrepreneur. That means anyone can do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got sucked into some YouTube videos last night and there's a lot of vloggers right now. And I'm always interested in the vloggers because their creativity in some of their videos is really amazing. Like they spend a lot of time on these videos and they're getting hundreds of thousands of views. And, it's quite incredible. And this one vlogger, so incredible. And I'm glued to her videos and I'm watching. And then I start snooping around her channel a little bit. And there's absolutely no way for me to learn more about her or get on her email list or get more into her world. She's just spending all of this time, and her calls to action are, hey, connect with me on Instagram, or, that's about it. And I'm thinking, oh, snap, like what a waste the way I look at it is what a waste, because what if something happens to her YouTube channel and it gets shut down for some reason or what have you, and she had all of those people who were raving fans and she never captured them on her email list. And I don't care if she had a course to sell or was not selling something, you should still be putting people on your email list and taking traffic that you don't own, because we don't own our social medias, right? Like we don't own the views and the subscribers on any of our social media channels. So taking that traffic that we don't own and moving them into traffic that we do own, which is our email list, is the smartest thing that you could ever do. It makes you so much more powerful in the marketplace for any sponsorships, product promotions. There's all these Instagrammers right now. It's funny. And it opens up the opportunity so much for what it is that I'm doing with these guys too. And there's some big plans coming, but I went on and there's these Instagrammers that are doing all the fashion, right? So some of them are doing like fashion, and then they would have their like to know it links. So then people would click, they would do, they'd say, hey, click here to figure out where I got my sweater or whatever. And then they have their affiliate links on this like to know it site. So if anybody buys through their links, they're going to get a little kickback, right? Which is smart, which is good. But again, they're sending their traffic away to like other places without capturing it first, right? And then they're getting paid to do like a sponsored post or whatever. And some of these guys are actually getting paid per like or per engagement as well. So the higher the engagement on a sponsored post on some of these, or a promoted post, like let's say Macy's came up and said, hey, Ian, if you wear this and do a product placement on your Instagram, I'm going to pay you this much money. And then you can also negotiate in that contract that if you have a certain amount of engagement, that it goes up, like your price goes up with them and they have to pay you. And but just imagine if you had an email list and then you sent out to your email list, hey guys, I just did this new post, go and like it. And then that whole email list that you had of 100,000 people, 5,000 people, I don't care what it is, went over to your Instagram post and liked it and comment on it and engaged with it, you could increase your sponsorships as well. So there's so many different ways that, businesses need to understand like why they need to be capturing their audience. If you're showing up on social media and you are not, you are wasting your time and wasting opportunity that exists right there.
I love that. That's one of those lessons you taught me. Like if you don't have a personal website, you're relying on other platforms and you just never know what's going to happen to those platforms. It's the same way you don't want to have all your ducks in one barrel or whatever that quote is. It's the same way you don't want to only be in the stock market. You want to be in real estate. You want to be in crypto. You want to be a little hand in everything, right? And the same concept is with your brand. You want to have a lot of fishing lures, but only one boat, right? And that boat should be your email list, and that boat should be your website. And the more lures you have out there, the more chances and possibilities of bringing on a big fish. And you're constantly learning in the new times, like you're building and learning TikTok, you're learning all these new ways at Clubhouse and new ways of building. What excites you the most? Like, do you ever just get so dulled out and bored out with some of this stuff? Like what keeps revving your engines?
The fact that we just did a huge brand shift, which a lot of people outside looking in won't even recognize that we did, but internally it's something that I did. I've always been very much positioned inside of the network marketing space. That's just where I had a lot of success and people wanted to know what I was doing. But everything that I started teaching, like with funnels and email list building and websites and things like that, really relate to every business out there on planet Earth. It doesn't just relate to network marketers. So at the beginning of this year, I rebranded a little bit. I don't know if you noticed the rebranding of everything, but we changed up our taglines a bit to serve to serve all businesses, to serve all businesses as a whole, not just network marketers, but anybody that is selling products or services and they want to build their brand and grow their influence. So that right there really excites me because I can step out and talk about a whole bunch of new things. And then we're launching a brand new program to sort of take what I have always taught, even in my other programs. We're going to teach it in a different capacity. And we're going to teach it with all of the new things that we've learned over the last few years, because I haven't created a brand new product since a program since 2016. All of our programs really were great, and we sold, hundreds of them every single week, and they really kept us kicking and alive and happy, and our students were happy. But now it's time. So we've kind of taken all of what we've known, and we're kicking off a new program, and we're teaching people exactly my freebie method to have that work for them in their business. So I get excited about talking about list building more and things like that. And then you would be happy to know, and I'm going to publicly declare this so we actually do it. I'm going to be launching a podcast this year. So for those of you that know me, or maybe you don't know me, but I just have always done YouTube. So I've had my YouTube channel, and my Facebook Live, or live broadcast, or dual lives that we do now. But I'm now doing we'll be doing a podcast. We'll be doing a podcast, Ian.
It's the best. And I love it. And that group that you're talking about, so you're launching this like free challenge type of deal where somebody can go in and just kind of get their feet wet in that world. So
yeah, if you would love to invite, you're more than welcome to invite your viewers in, or your listeners as well. You can drop your link. We'll try to figure that out. I don't know if do you have a link to invite people over into the challenge?
Yeah, we created it right before here because it's so amazing. It's going to be damngoodfunnel.com. There it is.
Damngoodfunnel.com. Yeah. So if you go there, you will have the opportunity to register for our free 5-day buyer attraction challenge. And we're calling it Growth Camp. Because who doesn't like to grow? And for 5 days inside of a free Facebook group, you'll come in, and there'll be a 15-minute video every day that you can follow. It'll be live from me, and then we'll archive it so you can watch it if you can't join live. But I'll teach you how to build the perfect freebie for your brand and your business, whatever it is that you're offering or selling. And there is a specific formula that I have called the freebie method, where how do you construct it? How do you title it so people really, really want it? And this will allow you to utilize it now on social media to help you build, brand awareness, attract perfect audience of buyers to you, and then to also help you sell your stuff, because you're leading with value versus just trying to sell, or not even selling at all, anything. You need to have something to build your email list. So I think that's the biggest question a lot of people ask me, Ian, is like, oh, I understand, people see that I do freebies all the time. I give things away for free. They give me their name, email, and they get on my email list. And then on the back end, we, at the right time, make our offers. But that really has worked so well. But people say, I see that works so well, but what do I offer for my people? Like, that's always a stumbling block. So we don't want that to be a stumbling block anymore. So we're bringing people into a challenge, and I'm working with them to come up with the best freebie idea, and construct it for their business. So absolutely, you're more than welcome to invite your people in there. I'm happy to have them.
That's awesome. I love people being in the circle, getting it done. And it's so exciting when you have friends that are in all these different categories of business too. Like, something that I used to talk to you about is, I love the podcast world because you can connect with people from all over. Like, Joe Rogan is so interesting because he has Elon Musk on, but then he has a comedian on, and then he has an astronomer on, or some sort of engineer. And it's interesting diving into people's worlds and why they do what they do, and getting excited about that. More importantly, it forces you to constantly network with new people. And networking is, an opportunity that if I never met you, Tanya, my life would have been different. So it's like, what are you doing today to reach out to new people, to connect and get inspired and just do something different? I think the challenge is a great idea, but beyond the challenge, like, everyone listening, like, what are you going to do that if the challenge isn't the exact thing that you're going to be doing? Like, you need to just take action and make moves. And that's what you've taught well. I think you do that very, very well. Now, moving forward, as you scale this thing out and you build out this brand, you build out this business, you make this shift, what are you doing with all of that old evergreen content? Are you going into every single one of those videos and like updating all the links? And is that like a time consuming thing? Talk to me about that.
Okay, so yes, it's time consuming. Well, I haven't really, that's a really good question. And that's a really good question. So we have decided to, here's what I really want to do. I want to have, as part of my business portfolio, I want to have my core product, my core thing. That way we can focus on the one thing with our people and get really good for our people in that one thing. And then as ongoing, because marketing is ever changing, right? Instagram's ever changing, LinkedIn's ever changing, all the mediums, they're always changing. You can't ever just create one course on that and then that's it. So I love working with my people almost live. Like I like being with them, like a Zoom, like this is where it really get exciting to me. So I'm thinking what we're going to do, and don't quote me on this yet, this is what I want to do, is I want to take a lot of those other programs and look at how we can put them all under one roof for somebody, instead of them having to buy all of the separate programs, have almost like an inner circle and have almost like a monthly membership, super cheap, but very valuable for them to come in and always stay on the top of their game with the latest, greatest marketing strategy to help support the foundation that they've built through my core program. So the core program helps them to design that complete foundation. And then the inner circle will teach them how to support that foundation, how to keep that funnel full of people that are interested. And I'm learning new things all the time. I am a perpetual information junkie. Like I'm hardly watching TV ever. I'm hardly listening to music. I'm always on podcasts and audiobooks, and it's not junk. It's like good stuff for my business, because I find that if you learn how to grow yourself and you're investing into yourself, your bank account is a true reflection of the amount of value that you bring to the marketplace. And so I always want to be getting more valuable for my people, because if my people are investing in me in any capacity, whether it's just their time, I need to make that worth it for them. And that's just my moral belief in how I invest in myself. So I want to have like an inner circle where we do everything under that roof. So taking a lot of the programs that I have right now and putting it all under one roof and having it easily accessible. And I guess with that, this would be a great like survey question to ask you, because you're also a client of mine. Like, would that be exciting to you as a member?
I think that, obviously that would be exciting to me 100%, because I'd be getting, 8 courses for the price of one, which is pretty epic. So I think 100%. Yeah, that'd be very exciting. It'd be interesting from your perspective, from the business perspective, because honestly, like building like a long-term monthly scalable business is like amazing, right? And like being able to build that SaaS model, right? Where you're building a subscription, but at the same time, keeping them engaged long-term, because communities are the future of just all softwares and businesses. Like one of my good friends is building a writing community right now. And it's taking off. And it's interesting because what happens is when people start collaborating, it takes on a life of its own. And if you can build the community runs itself. And that's pretty amazing. So I think you've done a really good job with that. And community is going to be, where just businesses are boomed over the next decade. So I think, it'd be fantastic.
Yeah. And I know enough good people that are geniuses in their zones that we can always bring on board and have them train and do that. We all know that exists. And then also, for any of your listeners, if your listeners know of anybody that I need to be talking to about having them show up in my inner circle, and this is like marketing, business, finance information, I want it to be an all-in-one stop shop for all things business. There's lots of things that go into building an online business, not just like marketing, but organization of finances and taxes and all of that is very, very, very important. And really, it was one of the things that I believe still does not exist out in the marketplace at the level it should for online businesses. I watch so many people's videos and they're like, oh my gosh, it was like our first year in business online and we had to pay our taxes and we didn't have enough money in our bank account to pay the taxes. We didn't know how to organize our taxes. That's valuable to an online business owner to have that information.
Totally. The tax deal's freaky. What I do, one thing that I've done ever since I've learned about taxes and direct sales is literally whenever I make any sort of income, I just take 25% of the total income and I just put it in a separate bank account. And I do that throughout the year because then I know at the end of the year, I pay my taxes with that money and then I bonus myself based on what I don't pay. And that's a pretty cool tactic because that's a scary reality when you hear those stories of people that owe so much money, they have no idea.
Yeah.
But when you own your own business, you're not getting all them taxes. Like when I moved to Miami, just in general, I saved about 10% on taxes moving from California to Florida.
Absolutely.
So I'm a huge proponent of tax-free states now, as are you.
North Carolina isn't quite tax-free, but I still love it enough to pay the extra to be here. But yes, I know California is such a beautiful place, but holy man, the taxes kill you. Yeah.
Yeah. And New York.
Yeah. But I don't know I don't know who would want to live in New York. Sorry, New Yorkers.
With that said, Tanya, I mean, every time you come in, it's like, you're just the real deal. You're a great coach. You speak to people very well. You've done millions of dollars in sales. You've sold thousands of courses. And you're only getting bigger and bigger throughout the day. And I like this shift. I think that I remember when we were speaking in Costa Rica, you were even saying how you got so excited talking about consulting with people's startups and like you really wanted to break out into that world. And I'm really proud of you for doing that. And once again, being a shining example of how you can grow as you change and you need to be passionate about what you're doing. And I can see that the passion's reignited. I mean, it was always there, but because you always are consistent, but you can tell you're really stoked about this. So I'm excited to engage in that content. So just as a little condolence, if you could have went back, let's say 4 years ago, knowing what you know now and everything you've learned, is there anything you would have shared with people that would have just saved you a ton of time, money, and scale factor?
Keep it simple. Yeah. Keep it really simple and try not to compare yourself so hard to everybody else out there doing whatever it is that they're doing. Because you don't ever know if what it is that they're doing is actually working. We have a motto in the company now with the girls, and we've got, different departments on different things, right? Design and then development and integration and copywriting and all this. And where we get a lot of our ideas is we're seeing what's out in the marketplace. We're kind of like looking around, we're modeling what other people are doing. But the motto is be careful who you model. Because just because you see it and it might look good doesn't mean that it is working and serving the end goal. So yeah, keeping it very simple, not thinking that you have to be everywhere all the time. Pick your lane and just stay in it, put your blinders on. And like Ian said, like very consistent, like stay consistent in even just the mundane things and you'll see the results.
I love it. Episode 2 of the Tanya Show. Ian Jones, here it is. I'm stoked. This was great. Thank you for coming on the show. Congratulations on everything. And how can people follow you if they're not currently checking you out?
Yeah, absolutely. You can just Google Tanya Aliza, TanyaAliza.com, Tanya Aliza on Instagram and all the other social media channels. I'm most active on Instagram and my YouTube right now. So thank you, Ian, for having me and allowing me to share.
I think everyone, by the way, should be able to say that by the end of this broadcast. They should be able to say when they find you, yeah, just Google my name. Because all you got to do is just go Google your name, get your domain name and build it up. So I hope everyone that's listening takes this as inspiration that you can one day say, yeah, just Google my name. Because that's how you get found online. So thanks, Tanya. Have a fantastic day.
Thanks, Ian. Ciao.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Len Jones Party of Two. If you enjoyed it, please leave us a review and subscribe to stay up to date on our new episodes. And remember, hope is not a strategy. Keep making moves. Till next time, peace.